everyone, welcome back to my channel. So we are back into my monthly videos on new releases. I didn't do one of these videos in January because I only had a couple of new releases, and then since then there's been like an explosion of new releases. So I have so many perfumes to take you through in this video. So sit back, get a cup of tea. It's going to be a longer one. If you're new here, then welcome. We're all about perfumes. Every month, more or less, I do a video on all the new releases in the perfume world. So I'll leave the past ones linked down below. And I also review whole ranges, individual videos on new releases, and of course my blog, which has detailed articles on whole ranges as well. So do check them all out. And if you're a regular, do check to make sure you're subscribed. Most people that watch my videos are not subscribed. So do check and give the video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And down below, I will link to where you can buy all these new perfumes I'm going to talk about in UK, Europe, North America, Australia, where they're available. A lot of them aren't available, particularly in Australia yet. So I don't even know where to start. There's so many. I think this could be the biggest one ever. I think maybe the one that's been most talked about or most anticipated are the new perfumes from Ariana Grande, which are her new Mod Blush and Mod Vanilla. Now, Ariana Grande perfumes, I believe the brand was recently valued at over $1 billion. So this is one of the most successful celebrity perfume ranges of all time. And they are coming out with their new releases thick and fast, I guess, monopolizing on Ariana's popularity. And of course, her Cloud perfume is an international bestseller, and it is a great perfume at a great price. These two new ones, I personally find the bottles a bit bizarre. She's going for like this 70s, 60s vibe. And if you watch my review of these, you'll saw that as I was trying to open them, I actually pulled my nail off the nail bed, and it took like a week to heal. I actually went to get my nails done a few days later and forgot about it. And you know, they make you put your hand in the the stuff that takes off the nail varnish, and it was like so painful. Anyway, it's all healed now. So they are a bit awkward to take off, and then you've got this like plasticky lid. This one here, the white one, is a vanilla-y musky one, very similar to Cloud and Cloud Intense, some similarities to God is a Woman. For me, this is not necessary. I wanted to see something new from her. If you like those type of perfumes, I think you'll like this. The blush one is something a little bit more new. For me, this is a fruity, quite young scent. It takes me back to the type of thing see, it's so hard to like spray. Like, how do I spray it? Yeah, it takes me back to my teenage years for some reason. It's the type of thing I'd expect from like a Britney Spears perfume or something. It's like fruity, a little bit sweet, but I like it because she hasn't really had a fruity one. All her other ones out, like her Thank You Next, her original like Ari, you know, they're all very sweet, like candy shop sweet, whereas this one is fruity. So this one is something new, at least from her. I personally think she should have just released this, and this was kind of unnecessary. Even though they are eau de parfums, I found the lasting power on this wasn't amazing in the way that Cloud is. It was okay. I guess with fruity perfumes, it is hard to make them last. It kind of smells like a sort of raspberry, passion fruity cocktail. So they're kind of okay. Nothing amazing, and they certainly won't dethrone her Cloud perfume. So the other one that's been so much talked about, so much hype, is the new Carolina Herrera Good Girl. The first one that comes in the pink bottle, though there was a limited edition glittery pink one. This one, called Good Girl Blush, I think will just sell well just because it's a pink shoe. The smell is also quite different to what we're used to from Carolina Herrera Good Girl. Normally the Good Girls are quite heavy, sexy. This one is more floral, pretty, peony, with a sort of vanilla, reminds me of like a vanilla ice cream tone underneath. So definitely more daytime, more innocent than what we're used to from the range. I do get a slight sourness that reminds me of Very Good Girl, the red bottle that has lychee in, but it's definitely one of the lighter ones in the range for sure. So it's a good time to come out now in the springtime. Personally, I think it's okay. It's quite expensive, and it doesn't have that wow factor that the original Good Girl has. So my favorite is Good Girl Supreme, which is a fruity berry one. Another new perfume, highly anticipated, is the new Black Opium Parfum, Le Parfum. Now, this looks quite similar to normal Black Opium, and we have had Black Opium Intense. This was a total surprise for me, and this is one that I really like. I think this is my favorite release of the month. It's totally unlike the others in the range. You know, original Black Opium is like a party going out fragrance, a bit sexy, sweet. It's got coffee in there. It's got strong florals. This is like a softer, classy fragrance, warm. It's got that solar note in, which is this amazing creation which gives you this feeling of the sun on your skin. Really classy, and it really reminds me of Lalique Soleil Vibrant, which also has that same note in, and I love that. I find it very classy, so it's really pretty. My only complaint is that it is quite light. Considering it's a Le Parfum, I thought it was going to be really heavy, but it's not heavy. It just performs like a normal eau de parfum, but it is really beautiful. So for me, I would have made the branding on this very different, because it's easy to just see this and think, oh, if you don't like Black Opium, you could think, oh, well, it won't like that, it looks the same, but it's totally, totally different. Definitely spring, summer. It smells expensive, it's classy, it's really nice, honestly. You have to try it. If you are looking for a more intense version of Black Opium, you need to go with Black Opium Extreme. But yeah, the Le Parfum, really, really pretty, and it has this smooth bottle as well. This is the 30ml size. Was quite pricey, but it smells expensive. So another one, exciting major release from the Giorgio Armani My Way collection. This is also called Parfum. This is quite a departure from the other My Ways, which are very white floral, tuberose, jasmine, orange blossom. This is a deeper iris perfume, much more evening, winter, cozy. It feels quite intense. There seems to be a trend going on at the moment with lots of iris perfumes coming out. I was thinking of doing a video on it, and this definitely fits into that iris category. So if you like Oui La Vie Est Belle that came out before Christmas, you'll like this. But if you're a fan of original My Way or My Way Floral or even My Way Intense, I don't think it necessarily means you will like this. Definitely worth trying. I love the bottle with this darker colour on it. I love the lids of My Way as well. So it's a good perfume, it has lasting power, it's one for iris fans. So every year Marc Jacobs Daisy releases some limited editions. I had so many requests to review these, and we've got 3 this year. They used to do 4 with Daisy Dream, but Daisy Dream is discontinued. So these are called Paradise, and lovely pink bottles. Pink is colour of the year. So this is just Daisy Paradise, the original version. In my view, this smells very similar to original Daisy. Don't think it's necessary to have both. So perhaps if you have original Daisy, you could get this if you need a refill, because it's a beautiful bottle, but it didn't smell that different to me. Daisy Oh So Fresh Paradise. Original Oh So Fresh is super refreshing, but here this is not a refreshing perfume, this is a lavender perfume. So it's very calming, cozy, has like a suede undertone, totally not what I would expect from a Daisy perfume. So this is definitely one for fans of lavender scents. They are all eau de toilette though, so they're not super heavy, but they are beautiful if you're into your big pink flowers. But yeah, that's lavender. And then the Daisy Love Paradise is iris again, but this is unusual. I've never smelt this. It's iris mixed with like a whipped cream. So it's just very sweet iris. Now iris can have a sweet element to it, but I've never like seen it brought out as well as in this one. So I actually find this really interesting. It's my favorite of the 3, and it has that sweetness of the original Daisy Love. It's the sweetest of all the daisies. Again, this is the sweetest with that whipped cream. If you like, yeah, your sweeter perfumes. But then the iris makes it a little bit more sophisticated, so it doesn't smell too like a sweet shop. But yeah, really, really interesting. It'd be nice to layer this on a heavier iris perfume. But I think this creation is quite clever. I like it. I just wish it was an eau de parfum rather than an eau de toilette. So another release that I was quite excited about from Dolce & Gabbana is their Q perfume. So they already had K for men, in the blue bottle, K for King, Q for Queen, and of course Dolce & Gabbana, really strong Italian theme, and there were sort of kings and queens of the different city-states in Italy back in the day. It has a really heavy feel to the bottle and this cool crown lid, which is super unique. It has this red theme and it talks about having cherry in it. So I really thought this was going to be a cherry perfume. Unfortunately, I don't really get cherry from it. It's quite simple, and essentially what I get is a very woody base and a lemon at the beginning. So for me, this is a lemon and wood perfume. And as it settles, it's like just wood. So it almost feels quite unisex to me. It definitely doesn't feel particularly feminine. And if you're looking for a cherry perfume, this is not the one to go for. I also found it to be quite light, giving it an eau de parfum. Again, that was a bit of a shame. I would like to see an intense version of this come out, and perhaps that will have more of the cherry in, the way that the intense came out of the K version for men. But for me, this was a bit of an anticlimax. It was quite expensive for the 30ml, I think about £70. And yeah, I was a bit underwhelmed really. We've had a beautiful limited edition release from the Erin range. This is the higher end range from Estee Lauder. This is Mediterranean Honeysuckle Clementina. So the Mediterranean honeysuckle is permanent, and for the past couple of years we've had a limited edition version. This one has clementines in and it really is a beautiful orangey scent. I really like this. Definitely one of my favorites from Erin. And I went to an event for this where Erin was actually there, who's Estee Lauder's granddaughter. And I was spraying this, I was wearing my coat, and all week, every time I put my coat on, I can smell it. So I really do find the Erin perfumes are quite unusual because they're light type scents like clementine, citrus, honeysuckle. These are all light notes, but they do linger and last. And of course, my favorite, hibiscus palm, is just awesome. So definitely highly recommend this. It is quite pricey. The 50ml is £100, but it is limited. And the bottle and the package, look at the packaging, it's beautiful orange design. So it is beautiful, and it's a shame it's limited edition. So I really like this. This is another one of my favorites from the new releases. So next we have a new one from Paco Rabanne in the Olympia range. This one is called Olympia Flora, and it looks very similar to Olympia Blossom that came out I think a year or two ago. Now Blossom was very light. Flora is not so light, but it's not like Olympia original and other releases, which are all about that salty vanilla. Instead, this reminds me actually of the discontinued Miss Dior Absolutely Blooming. It has a patchouli base, sort of blackcurrant berry top, and a rose heart. I know Absolutely Blooming doesn't have patchouli in, but for me it smells like it does. So if you liked the old version of Miss Dior, or you liked Absolutely Blooming, I think you'll like this, but it is very different to what we've come to expect from the Olympia range. It doesn't have all that sweet vanilla in at all. It is an eau de parfum intense, and I did find that it had good lasting power. That is one thing I'd say definitely about the Olympia range, except for that Olympia Blossom, which I wasn't impressed with. The way to tell the difference is it has this black on it, and the larger bottles have black outsides as well. So yeah, I think this is definitely Soki approved, and a pleasant surprise from the Olympia range. So next up we have a new release from Elie Saab. This was a total surprise. I think this is a whole new range from them that will come out. It's called Elie Saab Elixir, and we have this circular bottle with the Elie Saab design on it. Elie Saab Le Parfum is one of my favorite perfumes. It's a beautiful orange blossom. This is very different to what we're used to from Elie Saab, and it's got a quite oriental feel. We've got some ambery notes in here, like resiny, balmy notes. It feels quite Middle Eastern. Elie Saab himself, I think, is from the Middle East, and it's pretty, it's floral. I think if you like your ambery perfumes and perhaps you wear something quite heavy with benzoin in, and you're looking for something for the summer that's a bit lighter, I'd say go for this. The Elie Saab perfumes are really great quality, so it does last, but it's not heavy ambery. It's more floral amber, pretty, feminine, I think the bottle is quite cool, though the lid is quite big. But totally unexpected release that I wasn't expecting at all. So it's not for me. I don't tend to wear amber perfumes, but I think this will do well with fans of amber. If you're a fan of amber, I definitely try this. I need to add it to my article on the best amber perfumes. So we had a new release from Maison Margiela in their replica range, which aim to replicate real life scents. This one is called On a Date. From the name, I assumed it was going to be really pretty and feminine. This is actually quite deep, patchouli, kind of reminds me a bit actually of the Paco Rabanne. I found the patchouli a little bit too much in this, and it has this mossy, vetiver, almost aromatic feel to it, especially as it dried down. At first you get pink pepper and some blackcurrant, which is nice, or rose heart, but then all these green woody notes come through with the patchouli, and it ends up being not overly feminine in my view. So I was just surprised, and it didn't remind me of On a Date. I think you'd wear something lighter, I don't know. So it was good for lasting, like even though it's an eau de toilette, I really did find it had good lasting power, but it was a surprise for me. A lot of the replica ones are very light, so I'm glad that they've released something a bit heavier. We have a new perfume from Calvin Klein. This is their Eternity Intense. Now, Eternity's been out since 1988, believe it or not, and it's quite a traditional scent. This new Intense version, I really quite like, and I would happily wear. It has a bit of powderiness that reminds me of original Eternity, but then it settles to become quite a everyday flowery scent. It's not too intense, but it definitely has lasting power. It's relatively affordable. I've got a video comparing this with the original, but I think definitely if you like the original, you'd like this. And if you're looking for a sort of everyday, slightly powdery floral, you can't go wrong with this. It lasts and it's affordable. We have two new fragrances from L'Occitane, a limited edition one in the Herbet range called Herbet Spartium. This one is a really classy floral scent. You've got some greenness in there, which is a signature of L'Occitane. The Herbet range are quite green, really, really pretty, like the smell of spring, like, you know, bluebells in the spring. And packaging's gorgeous, great for Mother's Day. They've also released a new pear and like ginger perfume called Rose Poire, which is really refreshing. It's like a green pear and then that really fresh ginger. And then lastly, we've also had a new release from Kylie Minogue called Disco Darling, which is really light, fruity. I found it really generic and boring and not as good as original Darling or the new version of Darling she recently brought out. So for me, this was a bit of a no. I think the lid's quite cheap as well. So yeah, so many new releases. Let me know what your favorite new release has been, if you managed to try all these. Like I said, they'll all be linked down below in the description box. But that's it, guys. So thanks so much for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.